I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 603 while doing leg injury prevention training. And if you participate in the leg injury prevention training, that is at your own risk. We're going to do it in the second half of the video. Now, in the first half of the video, we're taking the second start with making our video about the Prime Minister. And this is our hundreds, maybe 200th try of pronouncing it correctly. Okay, we want to say that the Prime Minister, that happens via elections, that the political party with the most MPs, and of that the Prime Minister is invited by the King, or the monarch, and then appointed as Prime Minister. And the King also then further on meets once a week the Prime Minister, encourages, warns and advises. And he's just written, the life peers, so in the House of Lords, are appointed by the monarch on advice of the Prime Minister. Is that now for 1958 or is it for 1999? Okay, then we're going to say that, and then we're going to say that the peers, or the life peers in the House of Lords, are appointed by the monarch on advice of the Prime Minister, and the monarch can, since 1958, the Prime Minister has had the power to nominate peers just for their own lifetime. These are called life peers. They have usually had an important career in politics, business, law, or in other professions. Since 1999, hereditary peers have lost the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. I don't understand the text. What is now happening now? Are they now appointed by the Prime Minister? Or do they now elect a few of their number to represent them in the House of Lords? We're just going to skip it as part of the Prime Minister, but what we're going to tell us first that there was a Catholic king, and then there was the Glorious Revolution with William and Mary, and then 1998 was the Bill of Rights, establishing power between between the Parliament and the monarchy. Then there was Queen Anne, 1714, then a German, then a more reliant on the Prime Minister. And that Prime Minister is now, that is the Prime Minister. And we're going to first say the voting, then the backstory, the voting, then the Prime Minister usually appoints the people of, together with a committee of a church, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the spiritual leader of the Church of England, the constitutional linked Church of England. The monarch has the right to select the Archbishop and other senior church officials, but usually the choice is made by the Prime Minister. And when we're going to tell, have something else? That there is the Prime Minister's questions, and that the Prime Minister lives 10 Downing Street, and he has a country house, which is called Chickwell. Let's try it. I have a second camera rolling, and we have time for around 2, maybe 3 takes. So let's just start and look then how we use structure it maybe better. So speaking of that. In the United Kingdom, there are a lot of small areas called constituencies, and let's study the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, there are a lot of areas called constituencies, and in all these constituencies, the people there voting democratically for a member of parliament, for one person. And the person, no, that's not right, they're not voting for one person. But it's not a problem if you need here 10 takes. We're making a pretty big video, and this is an important subject, so why not repeat it a couple of times. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, there are a lot of different areas called constituencies. And in these constituencies, the people are, every 5 years in a general election, voting democratically. And the person for whom the most people have voted for in this area, this constituency, is then the Member of Parliament. And they are coming then in the House of Commons in the Parliament. And then is looked how many of these members are part of one political party. So most of these members of Parliament who are voted for in every area, very much of them, they are oftentimes part of a political party. And the political party, which has then the most people of their party in the House of Commons, that party has won the election. And the leader of that election becomes the Prime Minister. The monarch invites the leader of a party in and then appoints him or her to be the next prime minister. And we're also meeting further on the monarch and the prime minister, and every couple of times, every couple of weeks, for example, or once a week. And then the monarch is advising, warning, or encouraging the prime minister in political stuff. And also once a week, there's happening that the prime minister has prime minister's questions, and there the people in the parliament, also the ones of the other party, can ask him directly or her what they think, what's going wrong, and pressure him on things. So prime minister's question is happening once a week, for example. Now, how did that all come about? There was, some centuries ago, James II reigning, and he was a Catholic. And the people wanted a Protestant, and so they invited William of Orange in from the Netherlands, the ruler of the Netherlands, and he was married to Mary, a Catholic daughter of James II, the Protestantistic daughter of a Catholic king. And now the Glorious Revolution happened, and William, Protestantistic, ruled together with Mary, Protestantistic, Mary, the daughter of the Catholic James II. Now they both were reigning, and then at that time was done the Bill of Rights. And that said that the following monarch has to be always a Protestant. And then time passed, and in 714 then, Queen Anne died and she had no children. And so the next monarch to be was then George I, her next relative, who was a Protestant. But it happened to be that he was a German and he could not speak good English, and he was then more reliant on the ministers. That had also started with the Bill of Rights. So with the Bill of Rights, the monarch had to always ask the parliament for money. And with the Bill of Rights was established how much power the parliament has and how much power the monarch. And now he needed advisors and ministers to talk to the people of parliament so that they agree if he wants money. So, and then both had power, the monarch and the parliament, and there were no ministers in between. And the most important one became then Sir Robert Walpole. In 1721 became the first prime minister. The most important of his ministers, helping the monarch to get all the people in the parliament to agree to what the monarch proposes, became the prime minister. And that happened then under George I, because he couldn't speak good English. He was very reliant on his English-speaking ministers. And then there was the first prime minister. Sir Robert Walpole, 721, was the prime minister until 742. Now, and that is now the job of a prime minister. And the prime minister, the next thing, what he, for example, the monarch can appoint the spiritual leader of the Church of England, the Constitutional Church of England, but usually it's done by the prime minister and a committee assigned by the church. And the next thing is the prime minister lives Downing Street 10, or 10 Downing Street, and he has a country house in Chickenworth, which is called Chickenworth. And that is according to the Life in UK test handbook on several pages, for example, 110 and 111. But it wasn't the most straightforward presentation. I had a little problem in the middle. I didn't remember why are we talking about the Glorious Revolution. And then I remembered it's because of the Bill of Rights. Because then he was reliant on the parliament, and that is why the ministers and the prime minister, the jobs of them, there is. So that's why we made another turn there, which doesn't really make sense. But I think that people will get more information from that, a bit left and right, as if they would read it down in one structured text and they wouldn't be able to remember it, because the brain just reads through it and away, understood, away. That way, I think people will have more information. We could test it actually on one's own. I think they have more information after watching that video as if they watch something else, straightforward. I'm going to stop the camera. And we are doing now the leg injury prevention training. If you're here to go to the next subject, I don't know what it was, maybe House of Commons, when you can go directly, then you can go directly to the next video, to the House of Commons, probably. Here we're doing now the leg injury prevention training. If you participate in the leg injury prevention training, that is at your own risk. We're bringing the leg up and we're bringing the foot up, down, up and down, down. Now the other leg, the foot up and down, up and down. And now we're next one apart, we're doing it. And again in and out, and breathe in and out, and now breathe in and cross the legs and out. I wanted to look in the book what I forget, because I think there was something which I wanted to name. Next exercise, we're having a swinging leg, we have a flexed foot, and we're swinging it in front and to the side. Now what did we forget, but we're not going to do it again, probably. Life piercing we want to tell. Prime Minister. We told it? Yes, he is shortened to PM, or he or she. He appoints the ministers. That is what we wanted to say. And the cabinet. But we said it when we made the video about the cabinet. Okay, the next thing, the House of Commons, the opposition. We haven't made a video about the opposition. We had done one about the shadow cabinet. Let's do the opposition next. The second largest, we have changed the leg. The second largest party in the House of Commons is called the opposition. Now we're bringing the leg in front and back, flex foot. The leader of the opposition usually becomes Prime Minister if his or her party wins the next general election. The leader of the opposition leads his or her party in pointing out what we see as the government's failures and weaknesses. Next leg. One important opportunity to do this is at Prime Minister's questions, which takes place every week while Parliament is sitting. The leader of the opposition also appoints senior opposition MPs to be shadow ministers. They form the shadow cabinet and their role is to challenge the government, put forward alternative policies. Next exercise. We are bringing one leg up. We're breathing in and out the leg to the side. Breathing in. Out leg into the middle and down. And again, leg up. Breathe in. Out to the side. Breathing in. Out to the middle and down. And now the other leg up. And out to the side. Breathe in. Out into the middle and down. Again, leg up. Out to the side. Breathe in. Out and down. Next, leg up. Riding over the leg, flex foot, even like hips off the back, and pressing with the inside against the knee of the tall back. And a little bend in the elbow. And on the other side, right angle of the leg, flex foot, even line hips, tall off of the back, and press with the inside against the knee, against the bend, a little bend in the elbow. Next exercise, now we're pressing with the knee up to the side. Even line hips, tall off of the back, and when he presses up to the side. And with the other leg, when he presses up to the side. Next exercise, one hand on tummy, one on lower back, and we're lifting one leg in a straight line up. If the quad muscles cramp, then bring the leg up and point the foot down. Bring the leg up. Flex the foot and control with the hands that you don't fall back. Try to lift the leg higher. And bring it up and point the foot. And the other leg. Flex foot and try to bring it higher. Control with your hands, with the hands that you can hold back. And bring the leg in and point the foot. And next exercise, you can do that variation. You bring the leg up and down, or you do that one, the horse, into the leg and out, in and out. Or you do another exercise. You swing one leg back. The leg has a flexed foot. The back is tall also. And the upper part of the body comes down in the moment when the leg comes up. And try to be tall on the standing leg. And try not to fall in and get down. And the last two. And now with the other leg. Have a flexed foot. The other part of the body comes in the moment down when the leg comes up. Try to be tall on the standing leg. And try not to fall in the abdomen. And The last one. Also exercise breathe in. Out. Out. Now we're feeling cross the legs. And out. That was the leg injury prevention training. I thank you very much and until next time.